All right, hello. My name is Jason. I use he, him pronouns. We are here for session 2 of a run of a game I'm working on called Alien World. We are, this is our second and last session. Alien World is a sci-fi survival horror story game. Takes the bits from Zombie World, is kind of the major bones of it. Freya Leakin's Alien RPG, Cartel, Escape from Dino Island, Against the Dark Conspiracy, and Alien Dark. This is a playtest, so we're going to try to complete our story today. But as we go along, we might have some bumps or some pauses to try to sort out rules or explain things or whatnot. So hopefully we get a satisfying story. But if we don't, that's just part of what we're doing here. We're doing this as part of the Gauntlet online gaming community. You can find us at gauntlet-rpg.com or check out our YouTube on the Gauntlet RPG to check out our actual plays. Let's just go around and introduce yourselves with your pronouns and your character with their pronouns, and just kind of jog your memory and tell us a little bit of what we've learned about your character so far. So let's start with Robbie today. Robbie, tell us about yourself and your character.
Okay, my name's Robbie. I use he, him pronouns. I've been playing with the Gauntlet for a few years, oftentimes playing games, sometimes running games. I am playing a character named Tonkins using he, him pronouns. He is known for breaking and entering. That is part of the background that led him to be a prisoner. And we did find out last week that Tonkins is not new to this planet or this environment, that before he was a prisoner, that he had some experiences with living here. And so, he that maybe gives him also some advantages, because he's not going to be totally unfamiliar with some of the things perhaps that are encountered. Although he certainly, I don't think, has ever encountered somebody who had their skin removed like we ran into last session.
Okay. Yep. Keith.
My name is Keith Stetson. I use the he, him pronouns. I'm a gamer designer and educator in Philadelphia. Been with the Gauntlet for some time, enjoying different kinds of games and occasionally running them, also, as Robbie had said. I am playing Flynn, she, her pronouns. We don't know a whole bunch about her. She is a prisoner on this planet WY715, prisoner of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. We don't know why. We know she's a hacktivist. She is definitely frail, thin, angular. Doesn't necessarily look like the kind of person you would expect to see doing a life sentence, and part of that may have to do with her hidden background and hidden agenda. Both of those are still face down on the table. The odds are obviously stacked against her. It's supposed to be, it's survival horror. What do you expect? But she did manage to find a mysterious metal dart holding up that skin that was in the tree. But besides that, she's got a little bit of a weapon now, feeling better about it. Also trying to buddy up to Johns, who's the one that's taken us out on this mission for some reason, and we'll see if we can't reveal a little bit more of that as we go on. Oh, you're on mute.
Thanks. Let's move. We talked more at greater length about safety last time, but just to remind everybody, we are using the Gauntlet Code of Conduct. It just means generous and kind to each other. Try not to interrupt, mute if you're not in the scene, all that kind of good stuff that I think you guys are all good at. So just keep it going. We're using the open door. You can come and go as you please. We're using lines and veils, and I'm trying to find our little safety card. We have lines on animal abuse, child abuse, and sexual abuse, and we have veils on torture. So keep those things in mind as we play. And if everything else fails and you're stressed by something we're doing, you can throw the X card out there, and we will take that objectionable material out and keep on going. Let's review what we were doing. Um, so we, as Keith mentioned, we are on WY715, a boggy, wet, rainy planet, a bayou planet, and we described it as having a lot of reds and purples and maroons and giant mushrooms that may or may not be highly poisonous. Um, we said that you guys touched on this also, that you're violent prisoners that have life sentences. You're prisoners on this planet. You have some sort of prison base camp that Johns came to you and convinced you to go out in the wild and try to find these VIPs. Didn't tell you much about them. All you know is that they're executive, or they're not soldiers. They're squishies, and they apparently had gone out into the wild with an airboat, a futuristic airboat of some sort, and he had a tracking device, a little handheld device with a little beep beep on it that points him in the right direction. And you had followed this for 2 days out into the wild and had come to a river. You had um, the the brush had opened up to show you a river before you, and precariously hanging on the edge of a waterfall was this airboat, which you can tell is suffered a lot of damage. And you had found a skin of a person apparently nailed to a tree, and in the tree, Keith's character Flynn had also found some skulls with attached spines that had been oriented in sort of a religious sort of setting up in this tree. And you had figured out a way, primarily taking the lead. Tonkins had figured out a way to kind of float a log out, down the river to sort of get to the airboat. The three of you had piled onto our other character horse that was here last week playing Cage, the psycho killer. The three of you had piled onto this ad hoc boat and floated out there. You also had some ropes that were attaching you to the shore. To the other survivors, there's 5 other NPCs. Johns we mentioned, but there's also 4 other prisoners. There's Reno, the mastermind, Swift, the contract killer, Terry, the white collar prisoner, and Styles, the vigilante. So they were on the shore as the three of you floated towards this airboat, and a torrential rain fell, as you were making your way there, and the water level started to rise, and currents, became extremely treacherous, and Cage used I think it was a branch that he had, gathered from the shore earlier, used it as a paddle sort of to furiously push the raft towards this airboat. And going back a second, also Robbie mentioned this, but Tonkins had, as you were sort of floating in the quiet part before the torrential rain, Tonkins had exposed that they have a background on this planet, that they used to, I think it was live here, right? And that had helped to calm down Keith's character Flynn. So we had ended at that point with this torrential rain. You can't really see, but the raft, or the log butts up against this airboat. And I mentioned, I think I'm picturing it sort of has kind of like a catamaran, almost like a cabin. So it has these pontoons on each side, and then it has sort of like a large cabin, that was large enough. I think we said there were 6 of these VIPs. So it was big enough for at least 6 people to kind of huddle in there at some point. So is there anything else important I missed in that little brief recap? I don't think so. I have made a couple edits. One is pretty simple. If you look at Roll20, I've added a bunch of red X's to make the whole process of marking your stress easier. So you can just drag those around when you need to add or subtract stress. So
Jason,
Flynn, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm only seeing a picture of John's, and I don't know if I
Oh,
messed
okay,
up
yeah,
or
yeah.
if you switched the
No,
screen.
I switched it.
Okay.
Let me take you back. Thank you. Yeah, in Roll20, as you might know, I could be looking at one screen and have you guys looking at another one. So that I forget about that. Okay, so we should be back to the normal tabletop. So I've added these red X's to help keep track of your stress. And Flynn has 3, and Tompkins is cool with only 1. And remember, if you get to 5, which is where we left off with Cage, then you're overwhelmed. So I think what happens is you get to this in this torrential rain, you butt up against this airboat, and the 3 of you clamber off this raft up onto this pontoon, and immediately Cage kind of loses it. He's really happy and excited about what he's done, about the success of reaching this airboat. He had furiously been paddling, and he managed to kind of nudge you guys in the right direction, get you to this airboat without, and not topple over the waterfall, which I think describes about 30 meters down. It's a big fall, and he's very excited. And he jumps up and he's whooping and he's yelling out exhalations, or that's probably not the right word. And he's very excited, and he's making a lot of noise, and he's banging like the side of this thing with, like, he had a machete and then this branch. He's making a lot of noise, and you feel the raft is sort of also tipping as he's moving around with these out of control movements. And I'm curious if either one of you do anything to try to get him to stop it, or cool down, or anything of that sort.
Well, I think, yeah, Tompkins definitely would I think gesticulate, say, quiet. We have no idea what we're stepping into. Part of this is Tompkins' breaking and entering background, where maintaining some type of low profile is key. Tompkins will say, you don't go, breaking into a place where you're not aware of, what's in there, or who it might be in there. Mm-hmm. And don't you remember the skinned guy up in the tree?
Okay, perfect. So I think what we're going to do is have you trigger the move we did last time too. Calm someone down. Share a story with a focus on you. This is a excuse me. This is a safety move, and remember, you can find all the moves under the journal. And this is in the moves folder. You'll find all of our moves. This is a safety move. Calm someone down. Share a story with a focus on using it to calm someone and draw. I think you already were kind of touching on a story. Maybe just add a little more personal element of, like you were saying about linking it to your breaking and entering background. Can you kind of lay out a little more of a story of how?
Yeah, no, I think, I would mention somebody and say, I still remember when, Barry Snowden and I were pulling out a carefully planned heist, and he celebrated far too early, and it was awful, right? I mean, you can't. There'll be plenty of time to celebrate back, right, when we get back to the shore, after we've kind of broken into this place.
All right, perfect. Barry Snowden. We now know about Barry Snowden and his fate. You are ready to draw the cards then. So you get 1 card just for free. You get another card if you feel that one of your expertise applies here. So remember, your expertise are the names of either one of any of your showing identity cards, which you have 2, and or any linked expertise. That would be the plus something. So you have plus dodging, plus bargaining, and your new card gives you plus connected. So Robbie, do you feel that any of your expertise apply here?
Well, the connected, I mean, is that just like a human connections that we have, is like an empathy?
I leave it open-ended, so sure, I could see that. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think, given, his background and then kind of connecting that with what Cage is doing right now, I think might count for a card.
Sure. Do you feel that you have the right tool for the job? Is there anything in your pack or your pockets that would help you calm him down right now?
I don't know that there would be. Yeah.
Probably not, no. Do you feel that there's anything we've established or a situation that would give you significant advantage?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think of anything either. So then your last chance to get a third card is you want to push yourself and take a stress to get a third card.
I think I would do that, right? I mean, I think this seems a pretty. I mean, having him bang there, especially after the disturbing find on the shoreline. I'm not really interested in trying to draw attention to us if that whatever it is that did that is hanging around.
Okay, so go ahead and grab one of those little red X's, put it over one of your boxes, and that'll give you a third card. And then when you're ready, let me make sure I've recalled and shuffled them. But we're gonna remember, you guys always, when you pull cards, it's always the resolution deck, and you can draw 3 of them and throw them in the middle of the table when you're ready.
All right, I am having trouble grabbing the.
You just sort of you hover your mouse over the resolution card. It should move a little bit, and then you can left click and hold it, and then drag it into the table. That's how it. Oh, the X. Yeah, the X is. You might have to. Let's see. If you pick up one, you had 1 stress. You're trying to get to 2. So just if you can grab one of the X's and just kind of drag it, I'll do it for you this time.
Yeah.
And just drag it and slap it right there.
Okay.
If you're having trouble grab something, I find that if you zoom in, usually then you can grab it more effectively. Sometimes if you're zoomed out for whatever reason, it can't really register what you're trying to grab. Okay, so when you're ready, go ahead and draw 3 cards.
All right, and these are the
resolution deck.
Resolution.
Yeah, always the resolution for you guys. All right. Opportunity, Triumph. That's the best card, and the last one is relevant, but you got to miss. I think at our Stars and Wishes, I think Keith mentioned that it was a little confusing. So let me review these 2 before we get too far. But you end up with a Triumph, so that's your result. Let me see if I can find. There's the other card. So in review, a miss is a miss. That's pretty straightforward, right? An edge is a partial hit or a hit with a complication. A Triumph is a total hit, a 10 plus. And then an opportunity is the only tricky one, really. It's a miss unless you spend a stress to turn it into a triumph. It's an opportunity to get triumph. But if you don't want to take that opportunity, it's a miss. So, okay, that's the 4 different possibilities. So you end up with a triumph. So you do very well. So if we go back to look at the safety move, calm someone down. On a hit, you both reduce your stress by 1, and you choose 1. So he's an NPC today. I'll try to channel Horst, but you calm him down. NPCs, we don't really. I sort of just kind of keep track of stress sort of on the fly in my head. But you can reduce your stress by 1. So Robbie, you can grab one of those X's, that one we just added probably, and put it off to the side. And again, you might have to zoom in to be able to grab it. Like I'm zoomed out. Oh, I guess I did kind of grab it. But yeah, go ahead and play with that. And so you get to both remove a stress. And then what was the other part? You get to, on a hit, and choose 1. Look at one of their face down identity cards. Ask them a question they must answer honestly, or NPCs, you can raise their disposition. So there's really only 2 of these apply here. He doesn't have identity cards anymore. So you can either ask Cage a question that he must answer honestly, or you can raise his disposition towards you.
I think raising his disposition towards us
Sure.
maybe be helpful in kind of getting him to think a little bit more before he acts.
Right.
given that he's, here with some other people who may not be so happy if he's like banging on things or going acting impulsively.
So yeah, he stops feigning and jumping around, and he pats you on the back and he says, I always liked you, Tompkins. You and me are a good team. I'm the wild one and you're the calm, thoughtful one. Yeah, we'll stick together. So he calms down. Let's go ahead and so you peek inside this airboat, and like I said, there's sort of this cabin, and I'm picturing it has like a big blast hole in the side of it, and so you can kind of just look in and see what's what, and you see um, it's fairly spacious. It's probably about the size of like a full-size van, like a real big one, like a delivery van kind of thing. And up in the front of it, there's sort of like a quote unquote cockpit area with a seat for the driver and another seat for maybe someone. And there's like a bank of computers and there's screens and they're sparking and sizzling. But it looks like one of the computers is trying to boot up. Like the Weyland-Yutani logo keeps popping on, and then it scribbles. It goes to static, and then it reboots again. And we did describe also, just to remember, there's a leak of some sort of white mysterious fluid into the river coming from this craft, and there's also lots of electricity. There's a danger of the boat is leaking electricity. I guess isn't quite the right word for that, but there's sparks and whatnot. There is there's all kinds of boxes, like maybe about half a meter by half a meter boxes all spread out throughout this place, and they all have the Weyland-Yutani logo on them, but they're all been like forced open. Looks like they've been ripped or blown open, and there's bits and pieces of looks like little artifacts, like little pieces of stone or little pieces of indeterminate pieces of metal, spread all over the place. A lot of it looks very strange, stuff you're not familiar with. And there's one dead body. There's one person that's sort of laying in the middle of this cabin, and they have they clearly have a massive wound to their back that had pierced their body, and they're laying in a coagulated pool of blood. So that's the scene before us. So I think that we're going to call this a new location. So let's go to the new location move. When you arrive at a potentially dangerous destination, this is under location moves. When you arrive at a potentially dangerous destination, the GM provides a rough description of the location's dimensions and appearance, and then the PCs complete the following steps. So I gave you the rough sketch of the place. Then we can add some details. The first time the location is visited, the players define a couple genre-appropriate features or aspects that help the PC further their character's development. So this is an opportunity for you guys to add things that would be interesting, or things that you actually would want to have here that will help you, carry out whatever your character's doing. So let me start with Keith. What's another detail or feature you'd like to add to this scene?
I'm just checking something on my character to see if I want to try to add in some of that.
Sure. And remember, if you want to go back and look at your cards that are face down, you can drag them back down to your name at the bottom. Or there's a handout under game concepts. There's one for agendas and there's one for backgrounds. And you can just scroll down until you find yours.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense here. So I'm just going to add in the smell of the burning electronics.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like totally infuses your airways, and it's hard to breathe. You have to take tiny, shallow breaths, and covering your mouth with some cloth if you can.
Okay, so we see that the three of you taking a cloth or your cloak or something, and you're putting it over your mouth. Great. Robbie, is there a detail that you'd like to add?
I think some detail related to stuff that's kind of scattered about. So these artifacts are there, but I think there's also some, there's also some paperwork that's kind of scattered about. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was really maybe an item of interest on whatever was rummaging around here, and it would probably take a while to collate all of it because it's like scattered about. But nonetheless, I mean, that there does seem to be files that have just been scattered about.
Sure.
A lot of it now foggy probably too.
Let's see. Then the GM places a non-monster threat. Let me go back to remind myself what we have. We have sinkholes and caves, extreme weather, treacherous water courses, and thick vegetation. I'm going to use my creativity. Let's say, we already have the torrential rain. And let's say you hear loud thunder, and there's in the windows of this, several of these windows are broken, but in the windows on the side of the scene, you see the flash of lightning. The thunderstorm has gotten, or the storm has gotten worse, and now it's a thunderstorm. And you're on water, and there may or may not be some possibly flammable materials in the water. The danger increases. Let me see. Back to location move. Then I get to draw a new threat card. Great. And we see there's a cutscene, and sort of like, you guys don't see it, but like, sitting on the maybe like the broken window in the back of this thing, we see you guys looking around, but then there's like this mechanical looking bird that's sort of like perched, peering in at you. It's just sort of hovering there, and none of you see it. And when we see one of you turn, it sort of like elevates and disappears. But again, remember, the first monster is called Falcon. So whenever I get to draw a threat card, I get to draw 2 because you guys are under observation. So let me deal 2 threat cards. 1 second, I'm having trouble getting this to. There we go. So I'm up to 6 cards. I still haven't got the one I want, though. And I still don't have the one I want. Let me read this one. Oh, okay. Okay. So tell me what you guys do now that you're here. Let me start with Keith.
Flynn is feeling like this might be a chance to show off some of that hacktivist stuff. We've got some computers. Fancy craft like this probably has some sort of internal and external surveillance. Maybe we can find out more about how it crashed, what speared this guy, and those sort of things.
Okay, cool. We will trigger a move there for sure. And what do we see Tonkins doing while Flynn starts to sort of do her thing?
I think Tonkins starts to collect some of these papers that are kind of trying to find the ones that look the most dry and together. He might take a quick glance at them. I think for the most part now he's just trying to grab whatever papers are in the area and kind of stuffing them in a pouch, to look at more fully later on. Okay,
perfect. Let's do those in order then. So let's go back and Flynn, I was saying offline before you showed up, Keith, that there was one other move I haven't seen yet that I wanted to trigger. This seems like a good place to do that. So what I'm going to say is that before you can hack into the computers and whatnot, you're going to have to do some repair. So maybe we see you like pulling a panel open and maybe you got some needle nose pliers or something, and we see you start to like splice some wires together or something. So this move is called Fix Something / Someone. It's a safety move. When you have appropriate tools and access to sufficient facilities, share a story as you make your repairs to a person or object and then draw. So remember, going back to stories, secondary to you guys' feedback last time, I did add a few bullet points. I tried to make them as broad and general as possible, just to kind of like, grease the wheels if people are struggling. But if you go back to the handout under game concept for stories, a story it can be a quip, it can be a one-liner, it can be a conversation, it can be a flashback, anything that develops your character. So Keith, what do we see Flynn saying, or what flashback do we see that tells us a little bit more about Flynn?
So I think, Robbie, if it's okay with you, have Tonkins express some sort of doubt that this is fixable, just as a prompt for that, because it is pretty messed up. It's something like, I'm gonna have to go, I think, Star Wars, because I don't know what would be the appropriate tech in this universe, but something like something along the lines of, I can repair a Bacta tank, with bubble gum and a sewing needle. I can repair this. So some sort of impressive medical equipment that the audience and Tonkins would recognize. What were you doing working on that? Is kind of the thought that would pop up.
It'd probably be, I think in Alien, it'd probably be the I'm locking up on the name of it, but the tanks that the containers they sleep in.
Cryopod.
Cryopod. Right.
There's also
okay,
that
great.
Weird self-surgery thing that
Oh yeah, auto doc, I think is what they call those. Yep. Okay, so that's perfect. Does Tonkins have a response to that? As you're gathering your papers, he's looking at these wires.
I think Tonkins' response would be, well, if you're able to kind of fix the situation right, go to it. But Tonkins is very much kind of focused on the collecting whatever papers are salvageable right now.
Okay, great. Share a story as you make repairs and then draw. So you get one card for free. Does Flynn have an expertise that would help here?
Let's see. I don't know if the hacktivist helps with repair.
No, probably not.
It's more like using it afterwards.
Yeah.
Let me check something really quick, because I might have something that I can
kind of flip a card, maybe.
No, it wouldn't help here anyway. Someone go.
Okay. Okay. Does Flynn have the right tool for the job?
Absolutely not.
Okay. I did say you had some tools, but they're probably not the best tools. So you can add that to your gear. You can add electronic tools or something like that. Maybe we'll use that again. But probably not the right tool. So no. Do you have anything that we've established that gives you significant advantage?
I mean, she told the story, but that's part of the move, so I don't know about anything.
No, I can't think of anything either. So I think you're at one card.
It's rough.
There is a help mechanic we'll talk about if you need it here.
Can I also take a stress or not?
Yeah, you can. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to take a stress?
Yes, because 2 cards seems a lot better.
Yeah. So add a stress. Just slap one of those red boxes over your 4th box.
Yeah, it's not letting me move it either.
Huh. Maybe I have them. Do I have them? Where is that? Advanced, ungroup group. Sometimes you have maybe I didn't give you guys permissions. That's bizarre.
All right. Well, I will do my resolution cards.
Yeah, I'll move it in there for you. I'll sort this out. Players.
Oh, all right. Well, that's acceptable.
All right. And an edge is a partial hit. So, Robbie, just to remind you guys, I don't know if this is the time you want to do it, but if you take a stress and you describe a way that makes sense that you're helping, then you can draw an additional card for each person that each identity card that the person you're helping has face up. So right now, Robbie, if you wanted to take a stress, describe something Tompkins does to help, he could get a third card and try to hunt for that triumph, or you can pass.
Yeah, I think I think what Flynn would be would probably notice is that Tompkins is rather fixated on this paper gathering thing that he's doing. I mean, Tompkins occasionally will look back, but he's really kind of stuffing as much of this paperwork as he can into the pouch.
Okay. So that's a pass. So you're going to go with the edge. I moved one of those red X's right above where it says edge. I changed a setting on it. Can one of you guys grab it and see if you can move it? The red X right above where it says edge. Somebody moved it.
Yeah, I was able to move it.
Okay, great. Robbie, will you check to see if you can move that same one?
Yeah.
Okay, good. When we take a break, I'll go through and I'll try to fix it and make them all that way. But it's just a matter of having to change a setting. So anyways, on an edge under fix something, on a hit, you fix it. And it's just, this is a move where on a triumph, you would have got something good, but on a hit, you fix it. Go ahead. And I think we see you, sort of do some, jury rigging. There's a bunch of sparks, you kind of like back off, but then the screen, fully, cycles through the Weyland-Yutani logo. Maybe there's a special chime it uses for Weyland-Yutani. It's probably more of a deep, brooding sort of chime, but it pops on and, a DOS prompt, comes on the screen. And you're ready to do the next part. But let's go to see how Tompkins is doing in gathering these papers. I think we'll call this the investigate move. When you have appropriate fictional positioning, you may search for information, a person, or a thing. Before drawing, you too share a story. So Tompkins, same deal. A quip, a one-liner, a conversation, a flashback, anything that tells us a little bit more about Tompkins.
All right. Yeah, and before that, in terms of the agenda card, what do you have to do with to flip your agenda card over?
It should have similar to the background card, it should have a sentence right at the beginning. It'll say something like, reveal this card when you blank.
Mm-hmm.
And that should kind of lay out what you need to do. My advice on the agenda cards, some of them are not this way, but many of them have big impact on the narrative. So keep in mind that once you flip that agenda card, everyone will know your agenda and they will react accordingly. Some of them can have big impact on the way you interact with each other. So that's all. I think, does that answer your question?
Yeah, because I mean, what Tompkins is doing right now, I think, is directly related to their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, should I go on and reveal what the agenda is?
You can, or you can leave it mysterious. I think, yeah, you definitely foreshadowed that these papers. I'm not surprised that they have something to do with your agenda, but you don't have to. You can leave it mysterious, or you can flip it if you want.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I will flip it. I mean, okay. I think that Tompkins, with one of these papers, there's is drawn to one of the papers that he's come across, and I mean, maybe just come up with the name of a rival corporation to Weyland-Yutani and says, I wouldn't we could call it the Master Corp or something like that. Master Corp, and he looks at this paper and says, Master Corp is gonna love this. This is exactly what they were suspecting, and now we've got the evidence that WY was up to this kind of business that it was supposedly conducting.
Mm-hmm. Great. All right, I'm ready to see that card.
All right, so this is to flip this over. I can click on it. Right.
If you right click, it should have flip card. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
So this is the spy agenda. Reveal this card when you share or choose to have other PCs discover that you've been spying for an outside party, which is Master Corp.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, I would get to reduce my stress when I acquire important information that my employer will find useful.
Yeah. Let's wait to investigate. Yeah. Either way, I'm going to give you that. So go ahead. Yeah. Reduce your stress by 1. So until I fix the X's, let me do that for you. You're down to 0 stress. You're feeling good. And you get to draw a significant advantage when you choose to lose, destroy, or break your previously acquired important information in the course of performing your action. So that basically means that, as you're going along, if you choose to be like, oh no, my satchel of papers is lost to the river or something, then you can get significant advantage. And you win if you escape with important information or successfully transmit it digitally. There's one other little wrinkle in this one. Up in the very beginning of Spy, it says, plus any one espionage-related expertise of your choice. So this allows you to name an expertise. What are you good at?
Let's see. I was wondering whether I should make it like useful or something totally not useful for this situation. It might be funny. Well, I don't know. I was thinking it could be a disguising myself, right?
Okay.
That I have an ability to disguise, which probably isn't going to be particularly useful, but
yeah, given the theme of our story, I don't know if you're going to be needing to put on makeup or anything, or if that would help. But I like the idea. Make it. How about just like hiding, or
yeah.
You can think about really the word, whatever word that captures that is fine. Go ahead and think about it and just add it to your notes so we'll remember when we go back and talk about expertise. Okay, so
why don't you say hiding and securing contraband or special items? Like I have like an expertise in how to preserve and also kind of hide things and kind of preserve them, hide them, right?
Okay.
Away,
okay.
Right?
Sure. All right. So you share a story. Oh, describe what you're hoping to find or discover. It sounds like you've clarified that you're hoping to find the information that will undermine Weyland-Yutani, right? Or that will please your true employer.
Yeah, I'm suspecting that this information would both please my employer, but also maybe give me a little insight into what exactly was going on with this craft. Yeah.
All right. Describe how do you put yourself into danger like an idiot? In the course of doing this, how do you put yourself into danger?
I think I put myself into danger partly because I'm so oblivious to other things. So I'm kind of wandering around like without really giving careful careful surveillance of what's going on. I'm now kind of wandering off to various parts around this room without really being particularly careful or noticing my surroundings.
Okay. Great. Well, I think we're ready to draw. One other little note: when in Zombie World and also in this game, once you flip an identity card, it is known to everyone. So this means that Flynn also knows that you're a spy and knows that you used to live here. So you guys react accordingly, knowing that all this information now. Okay, so you get one card for free. Do you feel that you have an expertise that would help you in what you're doing here? Remember, the name of the card also counts as an expertise. So I'm wondering if just spy itself is enough to give you that.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be kind
so in breaking and entering, I think we can make an argument for several of the things you have. You have a lot to choose from at this point now with all your cards on the table. So there's an extra card. Do you have the right tool for the job? Is there any piece of equipment that you pull out of your pack or out of your pocket that might help you here?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Do you have a significant advantage?
No, I do not.
You know what? I'll give it to you. I think you've established enough backstory that you know what you're looking for, right? You know enough about the company and your job itself. I think at least on a one-time basis, I think I'll go ahead and give it to you just for what you've established. So 1, 2, 3. I think you have 3 cards. You can get a 4th card if you want to take a stress.
I think I would be willing to take a stress, and we've kind of established that Tompkins is kind of not even noticing things around because he's become so obsessed with kind of quickly gathering all of this stuff together, right?
Okay. So I've given you an X then, and now you're up to 4 cards. So when you're ready, go ahead and draw 4 resolution cards. 2 misses, 3 misses.
My 4th.
And 4 misses. All right. Flynn, do you want to somehow help him find the right papers?
No.
All right. So on a miss, you fail. Oh no, I'm wrong place. On a miss, you find only enough to allow the plot to move forward, and your findings are limited, obsolete, or unreliable. In addition, the GM makes a move. So I think I'm going to roll this into another thing. I'm going to throw one of my cards out on the table also. A threat card. Flip it. This card is called Something is Out There. The PCs describe what they see, hear, or sense that tells them that a monster is nearby waiting for a perfect opportunity. And it gives me the ability to trigger some surprise attacks on you, basically. So you do indeed find paperwork that shows that Weyland Yutani was funding a archaeological dig nearby, somewhere on this planet, nearby out in this bayou, of a mysterious temple, a mysterious pyramid, but a lot of the papers, you tell me, what is it you find that also shows you that there, like this card says, that there's a monster nearby? What do you see here or sense that, in your search that tells you that there's something nearby that's a monster?
I think there, as I'm going about getting the papers, there are, I don't know if they're kind of droppings or, but there seems to be, and it's like foul smelling stuff that I'm kind of coming across, that maybe scat or excrement or some type of
Sure.
discharge from some foul smelling
Mhm.
creature that I'm kind of,
Right.
and when that stuff gets disturbed, the smell is especially pungent.
Right. And I think I'll, add to that you maybe we see you, turn over like the dead guy. You turn him over because he's like laying on a big sheaf of these papers, or maybe he has crumpled them in his hand underneath his body. So you turn him over, and you see that protruding from his chest is sort of like a broken off, looks like a horn, like a rhino horn almost, but like longer and skinnier, but like some sort of horn, and then that poop that's there too. You pull that sheaf of papers out, and they're all covered in blood. But there's that's where you see, maybe there's a diagram of this mysterious pyramid that they're talking about. That apparently these guys, it says on his his chest, it says like head archaeologist Yin. So okay, but you did get a miss. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take advantage of that to draw additional threat. We see something is it's looking through the window again. We see that sort of like infrared vision, showing your hot body looking at this, with this cold body that you just turned over. And I'm going to use that to take advantage and get a couple more cards. Again, I'm hunting for one. All right. Let us check in now with Flynn, and you were going to, this is a good time. We're about an hour in. Why don't we go ahead and take our break? I'll fix my red X's. We'll come back, and then we'll check in with Flynn and see how she's doing with that computer. Does that sound good to you guys?
Sounds good.
Yeah, that works.
All right. I'll see you in 10. All right, how's everybody doing so far? Good. All right, so let's pick up.
Sorry,
Oh,
quick question.
sure.
We haven't mentioned a Cage. Are we retconning him out of here, or is he still doing
No,
something?
he's there. He's like, we'll see. We see him sort of like, turning around, turning over all of these like archaeological things, trying to sort it out, muttering to himself. He's there with you, yes. The three of you still in there. He's a little calmer. He seems to be sticking close to Tompkins now that they're buddies. So, Flynn, let's see how it's gone with you hacking into this Weyland-Yutani computer here up in this cockpit area.
Well, let me see if I'm checking the timeline. I might not be doing that. Like, how much did you say out loud of that, Tompkins, for your reveal? Like,
I think I said enough that you would know that I'm collecting things for Master Corp that has been interested in what Weyland-Yutani is up to.
All right, I think that's like a big enough reveal that it throws me off what I'm doing. So turn around and be like, "What the hell, man? You're a plant? How did you even get here? What's your deal?" And like, kind of like going to grab you by the lapels, like probably more emotion than she's ever shown. Like, what the heck's going on? What's your deal?
Yeah. Look. I don't like being on this planet now any more than you do, and you don't think that being nice is going to get us out of this hellhole. Master Corp, they came to me, and they're promising that if I get the goods and I deliver the goods, they're going to take me out of here. I'm sure they'd take you too. I'll put in a good word for you.
How did they contact you? Not supposed to be anything in or out of the prison.
Well, there's not supposed to be anything in or out of the prison, but that people come in, right? That the prison needs, supplies from outside. So they've got some plants in the delivery area. Some of those outside ships that were coming in for supplies, they were carrying more than supplies for our prison.
Should have thought of that. What are you here to look for?
Look, whatever secrets I can find about Weyland-Yutani, I don't have time to sift through it right now, but I'm gonna get whatever I can on what they were up to.
Yeah,
and he points out like some of these kind of soggy sheets that he's been collecting and says, I can't make head or tail of a lot of this stuff, but there'll be plenty of time for that when we get off this waterfall.
All right, that's all right.
Flynn, let me ask you, you're real close to triggering a couple different moves here.
Okay.
There's one called Manipulate. It's a safety move. Trigger this move when you use charm, authority, negotiation, or logic to try to get someone to do something they don't want to do. So you're close to that. Or there's the overwhelmed move. You're close to doing what we call behave badly. This is a way maybe to reduce your stress. Role play a verbal or physical conflict with another PC. Do you want to lean a little further and go into either one of those, or you just want to go with what you guys put out there, which I don't think really triggers anything necessarily?
I think it's close enough to the overwhelmed that I was kind of thinking of one thing. To escalate, I think like that mysterious shard of metal, like she had it up her sleeve and it comes out into her hand, and it's like up kind of near your jugular, and it's just making Weyland-Yutani look bad is fine by me. Anything else that gets my ass on the line, and I will take you out of the equation.
Okay. That sounds like we're leaning that direction. So this is the overwhelm move. I'm glad to see it come out. When your stress track is full, you must immediately perform this move, or the GM will have you do something dangerous. You may also trigger this move even if your stress track is not yet full. So you're close, but you're not there. So this is a good time for you to do it. Complete the following steps. Choose how you try to cope. Sounds like you're doing behave badly. This is the overwhelmed move under overwhelmed moves. Role play a verbal or physical conflict with another PC. I think we've done that. Share a story that teaches us something about your character and helps explain why you dislike the other person, and then draw. So in the process of saying this, is there something else you let slip that tells us more about Flynn and why they might not like Tompkins?
So I think it's not. I'm trying to think of it in a cinematic way, because like I don't think there's anything that she would say at that point, but like it's not Tompkins, it's that it's Master Corp, and like she does not trust them, probably even less than the company that's imprisoning her. So I don't know if like I don't know how that would be shown though.
Maybe something like, they're even worse than Weyland-Yutani. You can't trust you can't trust the man no matter what their name is, something like that.
Oh, I got it. So like as the dagger is at your throat, pulls it back, and like, and as dangerous as this feels pressed against your neck, they're 1,000 times more dangerous, even off planet.
Okay, perfect. We're ready to draw. So you get one card for free. It says for this one, you use expertise that would help you, quote unquote, win the conflict. So do you feel you have any expertise that would help you win this conflict? You've got hacktivist.
Maybe analysis.
Yeah, I like that. You know enough. You're able to see the big picture. This is not going to go well, something like that. All right, we'll give you that. Do you have the right tool for the job? Is there anything in your pockets that might help you win this conflict?
I'm using the metal dart already. I guess I'm trying to figure out how I'm framing it as a conflict, because are we trying to get two different things, or am I just venting at you?
Yeah, it's kind of like you're venting, but it'll be more. Think of it in terms of when you have a fight with someone, it feels a lot better when you win that fight, right? Rather than walking away realizing you look like a jackass.
I go with the threat of force then.
Yeah, I think the dart we've laid it out as mysterious and extra sharp. So yeah, I think it's a good way to win this fight, using that as a weapon, so to speak. So sure, we'll give that to you. So you're up to 3 cards. Do you have significant advantage? Is there anything that we've established that would give you advantage in winning this fight?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Do you wish to take a stress to take you to 5 to get what would be up to the 4th card?
So
or do you want to go with 3?
The benefit of that is I might get the triumph and get rid of all of my stress, but I also might only get rid of the stress that I took.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I won't take the stress.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, it seems to make sense. 3 cards when you're ready.
Swing and a miss. 0 for 2. Edge.
All right, Edge. Just slipped it through there. It's a weird way of saying, well, actually, this is interesting too. You can help or hinder on this if you want, Tompkins. So you could take a stress and then draw 1 card for each card that he has showing, which is just 1. And in this case, a hinder might be nice. If you got a miss, you could replace his edge with your miss. But it's up to you. Do you wish to help or hinder with this this attempt by Flynn to win this argument with you?
Yeah, no, I like the hinder. I like the hinder angle.
Sure. So just grab one of those little red X's. Hopefully you guys should be able to move them now. Grab one of those red X's, throw it on your second box. And when you're ready, you're going to draw 1 card looking for something to take away that edge. Oh, but you get a triumph. That's too bad.
The one time you don't want to. Don't want to
You know, that's interesting. You still have to replace one of his cards with your card. So you actually end up helping him. You know what I mean? Like you can replace his edge, but you replace it with a triumph. So you're actually making it more effective. So what do we see you do to try to like win this fight that actually, I guess it sort of like comes back to bite you in the butt. It actually ends up helping him out. You guys role play that out, how the rest of that fight goes.
Well, I wonder if I spill the beans that you know, Master Corp has a plan to get me off the planet. I mean, would that work? But you know, if Flynn was wanting to then leverage that information, I mean, there are various things Flynn could do to either maybe arrange it so that Flynn could also be taken off, or to hold it over Tonkin's head, right? I mean, that you've got Johns and company waiting on the shoreline, and that would end up putting Tonkins in I think a world of trouble to, you know, kind of have revealed now that you know, he's working as a spy, and you could bust up the whole kind of system where, you know, Tonkins is able to get kind of information from Master Corp.
So yeah, I like the idea that you pull out one of these pieces of paper and you're like, no, we can trust Master Corp. See, they have this is how I'm going to get out of here. And you see there's a diagram of the area, and you see downriver, you know, there's like a site you point at, and you're like, this is where they're going to pick me up, you know? So, and then you're like, maybe I shouldn't have told him that. And so now he ends up winning the fight. So getting back to the overwhelm move, on a triumph, you clear all your stress.
Okey-dokey.
And that's it. There's still consequences. Choose one of the following. On an edge, the GM then chooses one. So you still have to choose one of the bullet points under overwhelm move. Narrate how your actions upset another. They mark stress. Narrate how you are ashamed. You can't come out of it. You're out of sorts. Narrate how you made a lot of noise. Your mind is muddled. Narrate how you lose something. Narrate how you suffer a hurt. Narrate how someone else suffers a hurt. So some of those don't necessarily hurt you, but someone's going to suffer some consequences as a result of this conflict. So we're going to take a look at those. They all have some mechanical implications.
What is the stare into the void move?
Oh, that's when you are confronted by sudden death. You know, the monster suddenly appears right there, or you know, you're on the edge of like, or an explosion happens and you have to make a split-second decision or something like that. You have to like take a moment to describe how you pull yourself together, and if you don't, then real bad things happen.
Okay.
Yeah, one of those.
I'm going to go with out of sorts then. Any threat introduced in the scene forces you to stare into the void.
Okay.
Like she is in a super heightened state from this. Like it triggered probably more reaction than you would expect. There would always be some sort of reaction finding out your fellow prisoner is a mole, but even more so like totally thrown off her game. Right.
I like it. Okay, so I think, let me go ahead then. I think this is an appropriate time for me to bring out one of my cards, flip it. Flip card, monster attack. So the two of you are having this confrontation. Cage is standing by, sort of like has his machete in hand, like he feels, you can tell he's sort of like taking Tonkin's side, but he's a little concerned too, because he realized he also was hearing this all this new information about Tonkins. And you feel better having won this fight, but you're sort of stunned for a moment. And then you hear explosions from the shore. Again, there's this at first you're like, oh, it's lightning, but then there's another explosion. And you start to hear some screams, some yelling and screaming from the shore nearby. And then there's a loud thump, and something very heavy lands on top of the cabin that you're in, and a long metallic spear pierces through and lands like right in the middle of the two of you, and then it instantly retracts. Like it's not pulled out; it just like it's like it gets super small and just retracts out, and then it comes through again, and for dramatic purposes, maybe it slices the side of Cage's face, and he dives to the side, and then it retracts again, and it's clear that this is going to keep happening. You are in your state of mind, you're sort of stunned. So Flynn, we are going to go ahead and have you do that move we just talked about, stare into the void. This is a peril move. When suddenly confronted by death, describe how you try to pull it together and do something before the threat does its worst. So for this move, what we're thinking of is, do you have an expertise, anything that would help you pull it together and act quickly before something bad happens? Hacktivist,
You're
sleight,
muted.
and analysis.
Sorry. Could I reveal a card if it helps? I don't know.
Sure.
But
if you feel like you've triggered it, sure. Or you can trigger it.
Yeah, why not? All right. I am going to reveal my agenda. So, as the spear is coming down, Flynn is like sort of doesn't react to the first one, and eventually like shakes herself to enough and just goes, "Shit! I shouldn't have prevented us from bringing weapons on this trip. We're all gonna fucking die." And that is revealing something awful I did to prepare us for the mission. Reveal this card when you publicly acknowledge that you did something prior to the scenario start that led to horrible things happening. So, as soon as the story allows, show or tell. So I guess I shouldn't yet because we're being attacked.
Once it cools down, you can reveal what your motivation was. Sure.
The monologue probably doesn't make a lot of sense here, but she prepped ahead of time to make us not able to fight back.
Okay, perfect. And this is called exclusive rights. It adds the expertise corporate, and it gives you the ability to draw with significant advantage when taking actions that will potentially help you satisfy your motivation and clearly put others in danger. You win if you get what you are after. So it's absolutely fine. Pretty much the way I do it too is we'll figure out what you're after later, but we'll use it now. All right, so back to what we're saying. Do you feel, do you have an expertise here that would help you pull your shit together and do something?
So the thing I was thinking about that is I know more about this vehicle than previously revealed with the corporate tag. So there is a part that is like reinforced, or there's more layers, so it's like safer. I don't know how safe, but safer from this spear.
Okay, perfect. I think we'll use that for that draw with significant advantage part when taking actions that will potentially help you satisfy your motivation. Right now, your motivation is to stay alive. I think we'll use that just to run with. And then, but that you're gonna, so we see you like your goal, we see you glance off to the side, and there's like a hidden compartment that you know that if you push a button, it'll pop open. You can roll in there. It'll keep you safe from this whatever. And but it'll make everybody else even more at danger because now there's one less target, right? So I think we'll use that for that draw with significant advantage part if that works for you.
Okay.
But I don't know if it necessarily is an expertise. So unless you have a different argument, I'm going to say no on expertise, but yes on significant advantage. Do you have the right tool for the job? Is there anything in your pack or your pockets that might give you significant advantage, or would be the perfect thing to have at this moment?
Not for running and hiding, I don't think. Yeah.
Oh, probably not. Do you wish to take a stress? Push yourself.
What is significant advantage?
Significant advantage is anything that we've established in our story, or a lot of moves will give you advantage. So we're giving you advantage. You see the part under exclusive rights where it says draw a significant advantage when taking actions that will potentially help you satisfy your motivation and clearly put others in danger. So I'm saying you rolling into this little safe box is going to help you and not help others. It will put others at even more danger. So I'm giving you significant advantage for that. Significant advantage is the idea that is there anything we've established or any sort of bonuses from cards that will give you an advantage in the situation.
What does that do mechanically?
It gives you another card.
Okay. So I
So, yeah.
would have 2 cards.
Right. So you get one card always. You don't have expertise. You don't have a right tool for the job. You do have significant advantage. So you got 2 cards. Then the last question is do you want to take a stress to push yourself to get the 3rd card?
Yeah, I'm going to go for that.
Okay. So throw one of those X's on your stress. When you are ready, you are going to draw with 3 cards. And this is to try to pull your shit together and do something.
This.
Opportunity. Okay.
Edge.
Okay, so this is an interesting choice. You can take an edge, which is a partial hit, or a hit with complication. On this move, that would mean you would succeed, but you would either gain stress, lose something important, or make a lot of noise. Or you could turn the opportunity into a triumph, a full hit, by taking another stress.
Well, I mean, that's one of the options on an edge too. So
yeah.
What does I don't see anything for triumph in the move.
On a triumph, it just means you don't have to choose one of the things. You don't have to choose one of the bullet points.
So like you gain a stress to not have to gain a stress?
Exactly.
I will just gain a stress.
Okay, that's probably, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you do succeed though. So you pull your shit together and can now take action. Just to pass the danger around, I'm going to turn to Tompkins though and say, Tompkins, what do you do? You're under attack. So some strange spear keeps piercing through the top of this structure, and just cut Cage. And what are you going to do to deal with this?
I think Tompkins has already been thinking about, okay, if things get really, if there is some type of nasty adversary of using there's been electrical sparks, not just from the lightning, but from the ship itself. I think that Tompkins is going to look around and see if there's some type of cable that's been cut or something that has kind of electrical current flowing through it to try to weaponize that.
Okay.
And I think that Tompkins, when doing this, Tompkins is pretty light on his feet. So to kind of look around for this, I mean, he's feeling a little frightened, but also feeling like, okay, I know what I'm up against here, and I can move around this thing trying to hit me from outside the cabin that we're in.
Sure. Okay, so let's do this as there's another move. This is a parallel move called Quick Look. This is to kind of like look around and basically, like you said, to try to find a cable or something that you could use, right, to weaponize. Quick Look. This move is for when you have a moment to look about. On a hit, you gain when you use a significant advantage, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So you get 1 card for free. Do you have an expertise that would help you, look around quickly and find something that you can use? Do you have an argument that any of your skills would help here?
Well, I mean, possibly. I mean, this again, I think could go to either my breaking and entering or my spy backgrounds.
Yeah, I can buy that. So sure, we'll give you that for break. I think breaking and entering probably is the best fit. Do you have the right tool for the job? Is there anything that you have that would help you in this, find something quickly better?
Yeah, I don't know that there is anything that I would be
No,
carrying.
probably not. Do you have significant advantage? Is there anything that we've established that gives you significant advantage?
For this, I don't know that there is. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of a new environment for me. So
Yeah, remember, your cards both have things that do give you significant advantage. It's just a matter of trying to find the fiction to support it. But
right.
once per session, reveal a secret about this place that gives you significant advantage. And then your spy card gives you significant advantage when you choose to lose what you gain. So that's really in your pocket, you can use when you want. But right now, nothing else I don't think does give you that. Do you wish to push yourself, take a stress?
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I'd be
Okay,
willing.
so you're at 1, 2, 3 cards then.
All right, so put the stress over here, and then I'm going up to my cards. Let me see. All right, so here we go. So 3 cards. I've got an edge, a miss, and an edge.
Okay. And we established that Flynn is kind of shooken out of her state of mind, or pulled herself together enough to do something. Do you want to do something to help or hinder here, Flynn?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's go on an edge under quick look. That's a hit. So if using this information, you will gain significant advantage on an upcoming draw. On an edge, you can ask me one question, which is really, it sounds like you've already kind of established that what here would help me, or what here could I use as a weapon, right?
Yeah, or there's also like this, what might be the best way to manipulate X, or I don't know if that,
sure.
If X is referring to a creature or just to something in the environment, right? But yeah,
I think I'll go, if it works for you, I'll go with what you were kind of laying out earlier, which is like there is indeed an electric cable that maybe you see it has sort of like fell out into the water. Maybe that's why the water was kind of electrocuting, and it's an insulated cable. You could grab that and you could probably like push it up into this roof, maybe that's not insulated. So maybe you could electrocute this thing.
Okay.
Let me go back to Flynn, and you see this happening in the split second. What do you, if anything, what do you want to try to do?
I mean, I'm rolling into this compartment, right? So I'm not really sure.
It's true.
It seems like hiding is mostly what I'm doing.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably. We'll come back to you then if you need. There's a move for that too, but let's see if. So we see Cage is probably like pounding on this secret little compartment that you've rolled into. And by the way, there's something else in there, but we'll get back to that too. So we see Cage pounding on it, and in this split second, we see Tompkins has grabbed this electrical wire. Do you want to do that? Do you want to like push it up there and try to like electrocute this thing, whatever it might be?
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is. I think what will capture this best is probably the fight move. When you fight, you gain 1 stress and draw. So you gain a stress immediately. So go ahead and do that.
Okay.
This is another peril move. Then you're going to draw. So you get 1 card for free. Do you have any expertise that would help you do this thing you're doing that much better?
Here, I don't know that I have an expertise. I mean, my breaking and entering is, I'm trying to avoid conflict, and I think with the spy as well, it's.
Well, I'll tell you, I think your dodging will work here because it's going to keep trying to stab through here to get at you. So maybe as you're doing this, you're like trying to dodge as it comes through.
Right.
You've got these sharp reflexes. So I think that would fit here. So I'll give that to you. Do you have the right tool for the job? I think you've established this electrical wire. I think that should be, that seems like a good effective weapon in the pouring rain. So I'll give that to you too. So you're up to 3 cards. Do you have significant advantage? the move you just did gives you significant advantage on a draw that comes forward, that uses that information. So, yep, you got that too. So you're already at 4 cards. You can't push yourself. You don't need to push yourself. You just get 4 cards. So go ahead when you're ready.
All right.
4 cards is the most. Well, and there's a triumph right there, right on top. So you don't have to do the rest. On a hit, exchange harm is established. And on a triumph, you get to choose 3 from a pick list. So the list, this is under peril moves if you want to check it out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. You get to choose 3 of these. You drive the threat off. You suffer little harm. You cause great harm. You keep cool and reduce your stress by 1. You avoid collateral damage. You occupy the threat's attention long enough so that anyone else not engaged in the fight may successfully hide or run.
Okay, so I get 3 of those.
You get 3 of those.
All right, so let's say that I suffer little harm.
Mm-hmm.
I cause great harm.
Okay.
And let's do the last one, like helping. It's going to kind of give him the ability to successfully hide or run.
Okay, great. So we see you electrocute this thing. In real life, I don't know if there would be sparks and stuff, but of course there's rippling sparks and electricity that goes all through the structure. Cage probably jumps back because he was pounding on this thing. He probably got electrocuted a little bit. It's insulated inside, so Flynn, you're fine, of course. You hear a roar, let out. This thing you don't get damaged at all. And it lets out a roar. And I'm going to trigger another card. One second, let me recall and shuffle before I forget. I'm going to flip this one. Something breaks. So it lets out, you hear a roar, and this thing, I'm not sure if you would hear it because obviously you can't see it. Whatever it is leaps and leaves the top of this structure, but there's a blast of like a blast of energy that hits the back of the boat, and it explodes. Shrapnel flies through, pushes you and Cage towards the front of this cockpit as the whole boat starts to sort of like tip and start to slide down this waterfall. One moment, let me make sure I've got nothing else I want to throw at you right now. No. So this thing is going to slide and go down this waterfall. I think Flynn is sort of being jostled, but otherwise is secure in your little cubby hole. The thing that slides into you, maybe this is how you realize, there's like a little case. There's a case. It's dark in there, so you don't know what it is, but there's like a little, it's about, like about that big, that slides into you and kind of bumps into your head. But outside, where you've been slammed up into the cockpit area and, and the water's splashing in of the broken window, Tonkins, what are you going to do to deal with the fact that this thing's about to go off this waterfall?
Yeah, I think Tonkins, heartened by the fact that this attack seems to have worked. But yeah, I think Tonkins is going to start scrambling to try to get out of the cabin now. And I don't think it's going to be safe to be on the hovercraft. And he'll yell out as he's doing this, time to abandon ship, I think, right? This thing may be going over the cliff.
Okay. So you're going to try to jump out the window or something, into the water, I take it, or, onto the edge of the waterfall. And we described it sort of rocky, so there might be something you can grab onto there, some rocks or something. Yeah. Flynn, you hear this sort of muffled, inside your little cubby hole. What do you want to do?
Yeah, It seems like time to go from hiding to running. And I would imagine I'd grab the case, but what is it? Like, what is the indicator that, hey, this might be useful? Like, obviously set up in a movie,
Uh,
she's going to grab
Um,
it.
I'll say that, as you grab it and you open up your cubby hole, some light comes in, and you see that it has sort of like it doesn't have any logos or anything on it. It's made out of that same strange metal that dart that you found. But it's all ripply and it has sort of like a biological looking sort of like designs on it. It's very alien and strange, but it's clearly of that metal. So yeah, I think that would be the cue to the audience that this is something important.
All right, so grab that and make a mad dash to leap out before this thing goes crashing.
Okay. All right. Let me just flip this. All right. So I think what happens. I think we'll do this as. I think as you do this. I'm trying to decide if this is the run, the hide, or the face adversity. I think given the situation, the monster is not necessarily there in this moment. So I think it's face adversity. Trigger this move when you try something dangerous and no other move fits. On a hit, you succeed. On an edge, you succeed, but the GM chooses a cost. I think what we'll do is we'll have the person who would probably be least good at this do this draw. And then the other person has the option then to jump in and either help or hinder. So of the two of you, which one of you would probably be least effective at jumping out, grabbing some rocks or something before you tumble over this waterfall with this airboat? Anyone have an idea why they would probably not be so good at this compared to the other?
I'm feeling like Tompkins has dodging, so that's would probably mean that he would be the more agile.
Yeah, could be. All right, so let's go with that. So we'll have Flynn make this draw for us. This is face adversity. You get one card for nothing. Do you have an expertise that would help you do this more effectively? Corporate, exclusive rights, hacktivist, slight, or analysis?
I might be willing to go with slight, but also not like not as large, not as much weight to throw around.
Yeah, I think that works. Either getting through, through the hole in the side of this cabin more easily, or not like being able to not having to grab something as quite as sturdy as other people because you're not that big. So yeah, we'll give that to you. Do you have the right tool for the job? Is there any piece of equipment or anything that would help you do this better?
I have rope. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll give it. I think either probably not in the moment jumping out, but maybe to like loop it around a rock or something to like give you some something to hold on to. So yeah, we'll give that to you. Sure. Significant advantage. Anything we've established that would help you gain advantage here? You can always use your exclusive rights. Draw with significant advantage when taking actions that will potentially help you satisfy your motivation and clearly put others in danger. If you want to be nasty about it, maybe you could pull out a significant advantage somehow.
No, I think it's let's get out of here.
Sure. Then the last one is, do you want to push yourself and take a stress?
So I think I got free. So I got 3. That's pretty good. I'll hold it.
Okay.
I'll hold it 3.
All right. So 3 cards when you're ready.
Now that I have 2 of my cards turned over, helping's a little easier. Miss. Triumph.
All right. Great. I think just pretty much it works and you don't have a cost. So I think we'll pick up. We see this, in the moment. We see you grab onto some rocks. Maybe in the background of this close up of you doing this, we see the others also grabbing some rocks. as and the torrent of water is splashing over the three of you, as the airboat tips and screeches and topples over and rolls a couple times in the air, hits the bottom. There's an explosion, of course, and and then it fades to black. And it's a couple minutes early, but let's go ahead. It's a good moment to take a break. We'll pick up when we come back with you reaching shore. We'll just kind of like flash forward a little bit, get you back on shore, and pick it up from there. Okay. So let's take 5, and I'll see you in a minute. All right, welcome back. So we will play for another 40 minutes or so, and then we'll save time for roses and thorns and some feedback, playtest feedback at the end. Remind me, I forgot to ask last time, but remind me at the end whether you guys are comfortable sharing it on YouTube. But anyways, let's try to get to a satisfying conclusion here. As I said, we're going to pick up with you guys kind of crawling out of the water up onto shore. We're going to call this, we use this just to kind of use it again. Will you call this a new location? So we'll do that move just to lay out a few things. I think we established that we know that Tompkins knows that there's a pickup site somewhere downstream, not too far away, right? And I think going back to what Flynn was asking you, how do they communicate with you or whatnot? I'm just gonna for narrative convenience, I'm gonna say you have like a little communicator, and as you're climbing out of the water, a little squawk comes over, and it's like what's your code name, by the way? What's your spy code name? If you have one at all, or that it's maybe Tompkins is not your real name. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it might just be a number, 467 or something like that, right? That they use.
Right. So you get a squawk. Maybe it's not that loud. Maybe only you hear it, but it's like 467, come over. Exfiltration. Scheduled 15 minutes. Make your way to landing site X-ray. And then it goes out, and you guys climb out of the water. And let me ask you, Flynn, do you have that box, in your arms, or have you put it in your satchel, or that mysterious box that you just found?
I think it's visible to everybody.
Okay, so you climb out of the water. You've got this box. It's not that big, like I said, it's probably like a small briefcase size thing. It's obviously very strange and alien, though. The three of you climb out. Cage is dripping, and you climb up on the shore, and you see that it's blasted. The trees are all toppled over. There's flames and embers still kind of going off. Clearly, a lot of explosions have happened here. You see off to the side that I put some X's through a couple of our NPCs. They've been killed in a very gruesome way. They've been blown up. That would be Reno and what's their name? Swift. So you see the bodies of Reno and Swift, horribly mangled by explosions. You see Styles and sort of laying on the ground, holding a wound to his side. Maybe he's leaning up against one of these tree trunks, and he's being tended to by Terry. And having seen this horrible sight, everybody take another stress. Give yourself a stress. Seeing the carnage here, and that will take Tompkins to 5. So you are overwhelmed. So what that means for you, Robbie, is that sometime in the next moment when you get a chance, you need to make an overwhelmed move, or I will take control of your character and have you do something stupid. Okay, so start thinking about that. And John's is clearly, he's got like a cut over his eye. It's dripping blood down his face. He's singed. His uniform is singed. He's got his shotgun, though, and when he sees the three of you come out of the water, he comes storming at you, and he's going to confront you. But let's learn a little bit more about this location. Like I said, we're going to do the location move, which is under location moves. This is called new location. When you arrive at a potentially dangerous destination, give a rough description, which I did, and then you guys can provide some details. Let me start with Flynn. Do you want to add a detail, and that could be a feature, or it could be something that will help you further your own agenda, so to speak?
So what we know, a lot of carnage, a lot of chaos, explosions, fires.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the people on our expedition are
dead
in pieces.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess the connection we would make is with whatever was on top of the hovercraft with the spear.
Yeah, it looks like there was something bad happen here too. And you did hear right before you guys were attacked, you did hear some explosions off in the shore and some yelling and stuff. So this seems to be kind of, the fallout from whatever happened over here. Yeah.
So I don't want to step on any toes with what you got in your head or established. But I think there's let me just say there's something there's a lot of blood, but there's also something that's not human fluid out there. I don't know what it would look like if it's green and slimy or something, but something else was injured slightly.
Right.
While
Sure.
doing this.
Yeah, and I think as you climb out, maybe you reach over to grab a log or something, and you see that on your hand now, and then you look over and you see that on the log there's drips of this green kind of a glowing fluid, and it has the consistency of blood. So you're what the hell is this? This sort of fluorescent green fluid. Sure. Okay, great. Robbie, is there any detail you would like to add?
I was wondering about having there's that flying monster that has been kind of following us. And I think with the carnage, that has, it's been kind of keeping its distance, but it's with all of the carnage. I think that maybe, you'd get a little kind of cut scene showing this bird really getting a little excited about a new meal that seems to be just waiting for it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and I think you had mentioned last time when we talked about what gives you a sense that something's watching you. You said there was a clicking and chittering sound. So yeah, I think you hear that sound again as you're climbing out of the water, up in the trees. You can't quite see it. Maybe there's that rain is still. It's probably let up some. We'll let you be able to see a little bit. So the rain and the thunder is still happening, but it's let up a little bit to be able to see this. But yeah, you hear that clicking, chittering sound that you heard before. Maybe almost like a mechanical whirring sound. Okay, great. So then I place a non-monster threat. I think the Tonkins, the way that you need to go to get to landing site X-ray, right, for your pickup. But you also see that the way there is a muddy half path, a muddy path that goes along the river, but there's real nasty looking bogs, those sinkholes is a real danger here. It's real boggy, it's real quicksandy-y. Right. So the way forward is going to be very treacherous because of these sinkholes and caves that we have. And then I get to give myself some more threat, which again, there's a card I really want to get. Let's see what I got. Okay, good. I got a card I wanted, but I will hold off for now. I won't play it quite yet. Tonkins, as I said, Johns is going to come at you guys in a sort of a very threatening way. As he approaches you, is there anything you want to do to try to, as we said, to deal with your overwhelmed state of mind?
Yeah, I was thinking of having Tonkins lose it. Seeing Johns coming up with that shotgun, which is probably a useful piece of equipment to have, and not denying us. I think Tonkins, as John comes scurrying up, Tonkins says, what the hell were you doing? What were you thinking? Sending us out here with those kinds of demons. Did you see that thing that was after us? And I think Tompkins is going to lose it, and I mean, I think he'll try to do something like just knock Johns down and take that shotgun out of his hands.
Okay, great. So let's trigger that overwhelmed move. We first step is choose how you're trying to cope. It sounds like lose it. Well, if we'll see how this goes, and then maybe we'll lead to a fight. We'll see how it goes. Describe how you lose your self-control or overwhelmed by emotion, and then draw. Use expertise that would help you pull yourself back together after your emotional outburst. So, like any draw, you get one card for free. Does Tompkins have any expertise that would help you pull yourself back together after losing your cool here?
Expertise that would allow me to pull myself together after losing the cool.
Yeah.
I'm
not seeing it.
Yeah.
So do you have any special piece of equipment that would have the right tool for the job to help pull yourself back together? Anything in your pocket that would help you pull yourself back together after losing it with John's here?
I mean, I don't know if you'd count like the fact that I've got this value, what may be really valuable, material that's going to be my ticket out of here. I don't know if the fact that, right, okay, I've got to get down to that landing point, but I potentially have the golden ticket, right, given what I've discovered on the ship that would, give me some comfort.
I'm going to say no to the piece of equipment part, but I think you could use that as significant advantage. There's this part here that says draw a significant advantage when you choose to lose, destroy, or break your previously acquired important information. So if maybe like we see you pulling out these papers and like throwing them in his face, or be like, this is why we're here, this is the important thing, something like that, I'd give that to you. But then your precious would be lost, at least temporarily. Want to go with that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll give you significant advantage. So you've got the one card, you've no expertise, you've got the significant advantage. Because your stress is already maxed out, you can't push yourself. So you've got 2 cards to try to pull yourself back together after losing it.
All right. Oh.
Well, forget it. That's great. Triumph. On a hit, you clear 1 stress, but on a triumph, you clear all your stress. So reduce your stress all the way down to 0. Then there's a consequence. Choose one of the following. And that's all you have to do. Just choose one from that list. Narrate how your actions upset another. Narrate how you are ashamed. You can't come out of it. You are out of sorts. Narrate how you made a lot of noise. Your mind is muddled. Narrate how you lose something, how you suffer a hurt, or how someone else suffers a hurt.
I mean, maybe lose something important. I mean, maybe John's, seeing me pull some of these papers out, he maybe is going to take some of that material now.
Right. So we'll just go further with what we established, and he will grab those papers and say, ooh, this is good. This is exactly, but he looks over and he sees Flynn, you've got that box, and he says, he levels the shotgun at you and he says, give me that. That's mine.
All right. So I'm like basically sprawled out on the floor. Robbie, was Tompkins trying to get the shotgun?
I think he may have been trying to, see if he could do something, to kind of extract that.
Let's have you on that edge. Certainly you can jump in and be like, I grabbed the shotgun. Sure. Okay. This is that moment. But let me catch what Flynn's going to do in the immediate with the shotgun leveled at you. And he's demanding you to give him that box. And his eyes are big. He's got a big smile. He's real happy to see that.
This thing is way more dangerous than they said. You guys don't know what you're messing with. You want it? You want this box and all that's in it? And I guess while I'm talking, I'm also kind of feeling like, can I open it to find out what's in it before he gets it? Like, I'd like more info.
Sure. I think you sort of like, why don't we call this a manipulate? You trying to like give yourself a little bit of space before he pulls the trigger, so to speak. Trigger this move when you use charm, authority, negotiation, or logic to try to get someone to do something they don't want to do. So he doesn't want to give you any space or time to open it. He just wants you to give it to him. But you're sounding like you're trying to be warning him and pleading. So let's call that manipulate. So you get one card for free. Do you have anything that would help you be manipulative?
Like as far as corporate.
Yeah,
I know about it.
That's the definition. That's number one on your resume, right? Okay, perfect. Do you have any special tool that would help you? You have the right tool for the job to help you in the situation.
Does having the box give me advantage?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he doesn't want to risk the box. So maybe we see you sort of like put it, like you're laying on the ground. So like you kind of put it in front of you. So like if he shoots you, he's going to shoot the box and he doesn't want to do that. So yeah, I'll give you that. Do you have significant advantage? Is there anything else that we've established that would give you significant advantage here?
Let's see. I do want to satisfy my motivation, but I don't think it's clearly putting anyone in danger right now. So it's not exclusive rights. And I can't think of anything.
Okay. So do you want to push yourself? You want to take a stress to get the fourth card?
Not at this time.
Okay. So 3 cards when you are ready.
A miss. Opportunity.
All right. Now, before you decide what to do with your opportunity, let me ask Robbie Tonkins, do you want to do anything to help or hinder with his manipulation of John's?
Yeah, no, I think I would recognizing what Flynn is trying to do. I think I would jump in there. I do have that bargaining side to me, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think I would kind of come in to try to, assist Flynn in this effort.
Right. So yeah, maybe say something like, but yeah, just look at those papers you've got already. Give us some space here, guy. Look at what you've got already in your hands. So yeah, take a stress. And that will allow you to draw 1 card for each card that Flynn has showing, which is 2. So when you are ready, add 2 more cards to the table. All right. See if it gets something better.
Yeah. I got a triumph.
Hey, that's better.
All right. So you can, I assume you're trying to help, not hinder.
Yes.
In which case you would just go ahead and take your triumph, replace one of the misses. So now Keith can just easily make the choice to have the triumph. And see, on a hit, they go along with what you're asking or choose to gain stress. Blah, blah, blah. So I think what he does is he does indeed look at these papers and he says, okay, fine. We should really open it and check and see what's in there anyway. So do you want to go ahead and open that up, Flynn?
Sure.
Okay. And you look at it and you're like, how do you open this thing? And you see there is indeed there's like it's like a little panel that when you pass your hand over it sort of lights up, and it has all of these like little like symbols, like red LED symbols that light up, and you sort of like touch it. You're kind of like trial and erroring it, and the little symbols start to disappear, like the little facets of this red thing disappear, and it's sort of like it's counting down, and when it goes completely dark, there's a pop, a click, and this thing swings open, and inside of it is this. It looks like some sort of weapon, again, of this alien metal. And John's, again, he says, yes, that's it. And he goes to grab it from you. He goes to grab the box from you again. He says, "Those bastards stole it from me. It's mine."
Try to think how I'm going to save my own skin in this situation. Well, you know what? I don't know yet, so I'm just going to do the thing that's cinematically interesting and pick it up before him and said, "You want it? You can have it." And I'm aiming it at him. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's got an end that looks like the aiming end.
Okay. I think this is like a bluff, right? You're probably like you're making it look like you really know what you're doing, right? I guess there's two things. The way this game works, maybe you do know how to use it. Maybe there's something, I don't know if you have a card or any justification why you might know how to use it. You could pull that out at this point. Or we could have this be a bluff. This, again, I think that would be a manipulation. Where do you want to go with this?
I just double check that card because I'm pretty sure it doesn't let me fire alien cannons, but maybe I can talk my way into it. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So it's probably bluffing, and I would think he would likely know that, but it's like on the off chance that I do hit the right sequence of buttons, probably something bad will happen to you. It doesn't look like this is a friendly machine.
Sure, exactly. All right, let's go with another manipulate then. You get one card for nothing. You get another card. Again, we've established you're good at this, so we'll give you that expertise card. Do you have the right tool for the job?
I have the gun.
Yeah, if we had established you knew how to use it, I would give it to you. But since you don't, I'm not going to give that to you. Significant advantage. Is there anything we've established that gives you significant advantage? You know what? I think you just manipulated them. I think it's fair to just say yes, because you've already got that kind of in the air. So let's give you that. Do you want to push yourself and get that fourth card?
So what the stakes are is basically like, what would you say?
He's probably going to shoot you. If this goes bad, he's probably just going to shoot you.
But if it goes well, I have the thing and
somehow we'll narrate him backing off.
Okay. Yeah. So it would give me some space and time to deal with my motivation.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll take the stress this time.
Okay. So you got 4 cards.
I hope one of them's good. The first one never is. I've noticed that with my draws. All right, edge is tolerable. Hoping for something better on the fourth one, though. Nope, edge is what we got.
All right, so back to Robbie then. Tonkin says, do you want to take a stress and help or hinder in some way?
Yeah, I think this is pretty important. I mean, we've got our ride home waiting for us, and we can't let John's foul that up. So, yeah, I think Tonkins will assist. I think maybe Tonkins mentions that we got the instructions for this device, right? I mean, he going on with the bluff, but is saying, oh yeah, remember those instructions we came across, right? That told us how to operate this machine.
Mm-hmm.
And is it okay if I throw in a card before Robbie draws?
Sure.
Flipping the card. As part of my trash talking, you can take it and be like, I swore to do no harm, but they took that license away from me just from trying to help people. I'm ready to do serious harm right now.
Nice.
So I have a background as a physician at one time.
Okay. Reveal this card, blah, blah, blah. When performing medical aid, blah, blah, blah. Reduce your stress by 1 and you put yourself in danger to provide medical care. Okay. It's interesting. You're very selfish, but then you're very altruistic. So we'll see how that plays out.
I've got a scenario in my head to put it all together, and we'll
All
see
right,
if it comes out in the movie.
great. That's what I like to see. The nice thing that comes out of this game is people try to like sort that out, try to create something to make sense. All right, so Robbie did indeed say he was helping. So Robbie, take another stress. And now he's got 3 cards showing, so you get to draw 3 cards to hunt for a triumph.
All right. So one.
You need an opportunity.
Oh
An
my
edge.
gosh.
All right, so it is. Looks like it's going to be an edge. On a hit, they must go along with you or choose to gain stress. On an edge, you must promise to do something for them in return. You may not manipulate them again until they get what they asked for. Okay, so he says, fine, you carry it, but we need a way out of here. If you can give us a way out of here, then we will split it 3 ways. Or he said, he probably doesn't say 3 because Cage is there. He says we'll split it amongst us, right? So if you guys can provide a way for him to escape, which we know Tompkins knows about, then he's willing to back off here. Do you speak up, Tompkins, and let everybody know that you know where the chopper's coming?
Yeah, I think I do. I'll try not to reveal everything, but we'll say, you know, we've got our plan already in action. You know, we don't have time to talk about it right now, but there's a pickup that's happening just a little bit down the river.
Okay. And then there's a high-pitched whistle comes out of the forest, like behind, the path that goes to the choppers that way, behind, in the forest that way, you hear this high-pitched whistle, and then you hear this growling, and something grabs, I mentioned that, what's his name? Is it Styles? Yeah, Styles, the vigilante, was sort of like leaning up against a tree with a wound to his chest. Something grabs him and pulls him into the forest. And he lets out a scream, and you hear this growling and this rending sound. I'm going to show another card here. This one's called Tension Builds. Place the next monster card on table, then remove this card and shuffle. All right, so let me do that. This is the first time I've been able to get another monster into our story. We add Hellhounds. Resilient, never kill their prey. The worst is separate. Victim must stare into the void if attacked by another threat. Okay, so you hear this growling. That somebody, Styles is a goner, and that sounds like you start to see several of these things. Let's say half a dozen of these wolf, like small bear-sized creatures. They look like a mix between like a mammal and a reptile. They've got long, nasty-looking fangs. They've got these horns that come out of their heads and their sides. They're growling. Several of them have, covered in gore and blood, and they seem to, be coming at the. What do we got left? There's 5 of you left, I guess. Whatever. They're coming at you guys, and hold on. I think there's another card I need to play. Called Monster Attack. So they're here and they're going to attack you guys. Let's go to Tompkins. So Tompkins, what do you think you're going to do?
Actually, can I give you something real quick?
Sure.
I toss the weapon to you because I got to deal with something like, and I say something like, I mean, not that it's necessarily relevant now, but like, a sample's going to have to do. I'm never bringing back a living specimen of these. And like, I dive towards that green goo.
You toss the gun to me?
Yeah. What you do with it is up to you, but you can try.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I have this other move. This is probably a good time to do this too. I have this other move called Something is Out There that I already had on the table. And part of it is that when this card is in play, the GM may have a threat appear out of nowhere and force a PC to immediately have to stare into the void. So what I think is going to happen is that, we see Flynn throw this weapon to you, and you're like, look at it, and then out of the brush right near you, one of these monsters' heads come out, and it's right up close to you, Tompkins. Mm-hmm. So before you can do anything else, you're going to have to like pull yourself out of being surprised. This is the stare into the void move that we saw Keith do earlier. This is a peril move. Mm-hmm. When suddenly confronted by death, describe how you try to pull it together and do something before the threat does its worst. So describe to me how you try to pull yourself together and do something before this hellhound does something to you.
Did I get the gun at this point?
You have the gun, yes.
Well,
so
I think
this isn't what you do. This is how you pull yourself together. That's what this draw is about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
You're surprised. You're in that moment, freezing. And how do you like do something? How do you pull yourself together or snap yourself out of it?
Well, we established like the last session that Tompkins also has this kind of defense mechanism of knowing that you don't focus on the awful thing. So maybe he does just. He knows that this thing is coming out. I think Tompkins probably dodges off to the side, but instead of looking at it, he's also just focusing more on this new piece of equipment that he has.
Right. Okay. Let's do a draw then. So you get one card for nothing. Do you have, in what you're doing, do you feel like any of your expertises are coming into play?
In terms of keeping this,
maybe breaking and entering, maybe spy. If you can make an argument for either of those or any of the others.
Well, yeah, I guess, if this has anything to do with how he's kind of coping with this thing, I think that maybe some of that breaking, entering, dodging ability that's kind of coming into play is going to be useful here.
Yeah, I'll give that to you, sure. Do you have the right tool for the job? Is there anything in your pockets that would help you pull yourself together in this split second here?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Probably not. Significant advantage. Is there anything that we've established or on your cards that gives you significant advantage?
Yeah, I don't. With this particular.
The only thing I can think of is that maybe you have this one called of used to live here. Once per session, reveal a secret about this place. It gives you maybe these animals are native to this planet, and you know that they're not likely to kill you. They're going to hurt you badly, but they're not going to kill you.
Yeah,
You want to go with that?
Yeah, and if I know them, yeah, I would know that about them. I would also know a little bit about. Maybe they're like things I know about, like how to try to evade them. That I've learned some things about these creatures.
Sure. So we'll give you that. So you got 1, 2, 3 cards. Do you want to push yourself, take a stress to get the fourth card?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's that moment in the story where stress builds fast. All right, so you get 4 cards when you're ready.
Okay. Miss. Comes the fourth.
Oh. All right, Flynn, do you do anything? You say something or push him or slap him or something to try to get him to snap out of it?
Yes.
This will take you to 5 stress.
Yeah. I mean, but I got it. What do I have on me? I'm trying to think of what I would do. I feel like I just throw a rock at him or something. Like,
Sure. Yeah, that works. Go ahead and take a stress. Take you to 5. Start thinking of what you're going to do as an overwhelmed move, where I'll take control of you here in a moment. All right, that will give you an opportunity to draw. What do we got? 3 cards. Everybody's got their cards on the table, so you're drawing 3 more cards, looking for something other than a miss.
we got edge. Better than a miss.
Yeah.
Miss. And triumph.
Perfect. All right, you managed to act before the threat does its worst. You're going to be able to do something. We'll come back to you in a minute. You've got this weapon in your hand. You've got this dog bear creature in your face. You've got others approaching. The NPCs, by the way, John starts shooting and backing off towards this path that goes off. Presumably, you said, the chopper's going to pick us up down there. So he starts to back off. The others, who do we still have alive here anyways? Styles, we said, is a goner. So Terry's there, and I guess that's it. Oh, and Cage. So Terry and Cage start running down that way, okay? And Johns is backing off, sort of like withdrawing and shooting the shotgun. So we'll come back to you in a minute, Tompkins. But Flynn, you were saying you were moving towards that log that had the green fluorescent fluid on it. Let's pick up with you. What are you trying to do?
So my thinking is that Flynn is here to try to get a sample of these creatures because of some of their medical properties, that it could be useful in some med tech. And as recompense, we'll be able to get her license back. And was probably told to get a live creature, but that ain't happening because she was not fully informed about these things. So collecting a sample of that and hoping that that's enough.
Sure. Get some DNA. Okay. Let's call that face adversity, to be able to do this quickly without something bad happening. So do you feel, you get 1 card for free. Do you feel you have an expertise that would help you to accomplish this?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the physician thing is.
Yeah.
I
I think that makes. Do you have the right tool for the job?
Probably not. Well, actually,
I think I'm happy with you pulling out like a syringe or something.
Yeah. I feel like I wouldn't go out without some sort of equipment.
All right, so we'll give you that. So you're up to 3 cards. Do you have significant advantage? No. If you want to add some little narration where you doing this puts one of the other characters in danger.
I mean, I feel like who is the other NPC? Whoever's alive. Like,
we've got Cage and we've got
Terry.
I mean, it probably puts everyone in danger because instead of fighting back or running or doing anything that would help against this threat, I'm scraping at a log to get some goo. Like,
right. To make it a little overt, maybe we see you like, you just threw a rock to like bonk, to knock off Tonkin's head and get him to act. Maybe we see you throw like, maybe some other rocks like over towards where Johns and those are, and like to make noise or something, or something to like draw the attention away from you towards them, right?
Okay.
If you want to get that significant advantage, to do something a little dirty. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you're at 4 cards.
All right. We're running out of space to put them with all these threats coming out.
I know. If we were short on time, I'd clear the table a little bit, but we'll go with what we got.
It's a miss. It's an edge. That's
something.
Okay. Nice to have in the back pocket. That triumph doesn't come out, and it doesn't. Edge.
If you can make an argument, I'm willing to let Tompkins try to assist if you want, or you can pass.
We're at face adversity. Is that?
Face adversity. And the edge means you're going to succeed, but there's going to be a cost.
Yeah, I mean, your Tompkins is busy with other stuff. I feel like it doesn't make sense to.
Probably not. It would have to be very creative, whatever idea you had. But Robbie, you got anything, or you want to just let him go with his edge?
Yeah, I think going with the edge sounds good.
Okay. An edge. Okay. You succeed, but the GM chooses a cost. Oh, I get to choose. I think I did it wrong earlier. Let's see. Gain stress, lose, break something. Something else complicates the situation. Someone reacts badly to your actions. You take too long or make too much noise. I think we'll do that. I think it's taking you a little longer than you thought. Maybe your hands are trembling, given the situation, and a little bit of time passes. Again, we see that infrared vision is zeroing in on you, zeroing in on this alien blood or biological material. So I'm going to give myself a couple extra stress or a couple other threat cards here. Deal to Jason. Deal. Let's see if I get something good. Okay. All right. So back to Tonkin. So you've snapped out of it. A rock hits you on the side of the head. You realize the situation you're in. What are you going to do with this hellhound bearing down on you?
I think I'm going to throw caution to the wind and see if I can get this piece of equipment to do something.
Okay. You're going to try to fight it. You're going to try to shoot it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what we'll do then is we'll do the draw. You get one card for nothing. Do you have anything that would help you fight this hellhound? Any of your expertise would help you?
I see. I'm not much of a fighter type, and this is an alien piece of equipment.
I think again, this is sort of like this draw is going to capture the fight. So I think you could use your dodging. Like again,
right.
It's not going to help you use the piece of equipment, but it's going to help you fight this monster.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we'll give you that. Do you have the right tool for the job?
I mean, I have this gun. You
do, but I'm going to flip a card just to mess with you. Something breaks. You push a button, and it started to light up. It started this little countdown, or like we described, this sort of like strange little stick figure countdown started, but then it goes, it stops, it fizzles out, it goes, and it loses all power. So we're gonna take that away from you. Do you have significant advantage? Is there anything we've established that would give you advantage in fighting with this hellhound?
I mean, does the living here?
That's what I was looking at, right? I have the once per session I can reveal a secret.
Yeah, you just used that though in that previous draw, so you can't use it again. Yeah. Let's see. Draw with significant advantage when you choose to lose, destroy, or break your previously acquired important information. You could lose this gun.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's not doing much good for. I had been hoping that I would be taking that back with me, but I think now I'm gonna be willing to kind of ditch the gun. Right. I can't shoot it, but I can throw it.
Right. Okay, so I think we will narrate that when we see the result here. So you've got one card for nothing, one for expertise, one for advantage. Do you want to push yourself and get a fourth card by taking a stress?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I will do that.
So you've got 4 cards when you are ready.
All right. A miss. Got an edge, and a miss.
Okay. Keith cannot help you because he's all overwhelmed, so you're stuck with an edge. On an edge on fight. Oh, by the way, when you fight, you also gain a stress automatically. So give yourself another stress. So you're overwhelmed also. Perfect. On a hit, you exchange harm as established. You get to choose 2 from the pick list. You can drive it off. You can suffer little harm. You can cause great harm. You can keep your cool and reduce your stress by 1. You can avoid collateral damage. And you can occupy the threat long enough so that others can successfully hide or run. This is a peril move called Fight, is what we're looking at. You get 2 of those from the 6 different bullet points.
Let's say that I let's say that I cause serious harm and that I also keep my cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cause serious harm and keep your cool. So you're not going to suffer little harm and you're not going to avoid collateral damage. Okay. So I think what happens is we see, because the clock is ticking, we're going to see the monsters, jump and dogpile onto John's. John's is being ripped apart as we speak, with one final blast of a shotgun. He starts screaming. He's being killed. So that's going to be some collateral damage. You are going to suffer a mortal wound. This thing is going, no, it's not going to give you a mortal, it's going to give you a harm. So a harm in this game is an injury that's going to cause you some sort of deficit until you get some sort of medical aid. Do you have any ideas what kind of wound, what kind of harm might you suffer? I'm going to look at under game concepts. There's a description. Describe the injury using the narrative or direction. It isn't life-threatening, but limits the character in some important way until they receive assistance. Because we're short on time, I'm actually going to jump in. I'm going to do this because I want to roll this into the other parts of this that we established. So I think what happens is this thing grabs you. You're wrestling with it. You got this weapon in your hand. It's trying to bite you, and you've got it in its mouth. The two of you roll, sort of like down an incline into a bog. The two of you roll into this bog. So I think your hurt is going to be incapacitated or pinned by the bog. You're stuck in the, you're stuck in the quicksand, so to speak, right? And you're starting to sink in there. There was another bit of this that I needed to establish. I'm locking up. There was something else I had to determine. What was it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that too. Might as well. I'm going to probably to give me the fictional positioning. I'm going to flip this non-monster threat. A non-monster threat becomes active hostile, furthers their plan, or enters a scene. And so that's going to be me getting you into the bog, is using this card to be able to do that. Oh, we established that you lost the weapon. So I think you roll in, the dog creature is a foot or two away from you, trying to snap at you, but it's caught in the bog too. The plasma weapon, whatever it is, goes rolling. It's kind of like lying out of your reach. Maybe we see you trying to reach for it. It's out of your reach in the edge of the bog. Okay. Let me come back to Flynn. How do you deal with your being overwhelmed to be able to take action before horrible things happen to you?
So how much have I seen of like what's going on with Tonkin?
You see all of this, but you're in that red haze of being way too stressed out. Maybe everything's sort of echoing. You're looking over here, you see John's being torn apart, you see the other NPCs trying to run away, being pursued, you see Tonkins roll into the bog, you see the plasma weapon out of his reach, but within your reach, if you were able to deal with your stress somehow.
So I think this happens while I'm trying to get the sample, right? That's what I get overwhelmed.
You've gotten the sample. It took you a few moments. You got that in your hand. Maybe you put it in your pocket or something. You accomplished that part. Yep. But now you're overwhelmed. So really, like I said, what are you going to do to try to deal with your stress here in this split second moment?
So I'm feeling like
you can look at the overwhelm moves. Really, your choices are: you can behave badly, you can lose it, you can use some drugs, or you can go to sleep. But that's probably off the table.
I go to sleep.
I'll take a nap.
I was thinking I'm trying to put this together. So let me know if I'm near where I want to be, because I'm picturing behaving badly and kind of like one of those things where it's like one of the NPCs is running, and to buy us time, I trip him so that the dogs can get him, to give us the time to get out of the bog and center myself and stuff like that.
Yep, I like it. Perfect. So we'll say you as Oh, geez, Styles, I guess. Oh no, Styles is already dead. Do we have anyone left?
I don't know who's alive.
Well, I think Terry was. Yeah,
Okay.
Terry. I marked out Styles, but actually, or I marked out Terry, but actually, I should have marked out Styles. Anyways, so yeah, we see you trip Terry. He goes, "You bastard!" And he's pulled off into the forest, by one of these creatures. Okay, I think that fits. All right, so then I drew a draw. This is, let's see, behaving badly. Use your expertise that would help you win the conflict. So I guess it's a matter of like tripping him well and feeling good about it. We would usually share a story here, but we'll skip that because I think we're short on time and it probably doesn't really fit. So do you have an expertise that would help you take advantage or feel good after doing this?
I mean, I feel like we can go for corporate for so many awful things. Like,
I agree. I think
I get
yes.
what I want.
Yep, I agree. So do you have the right tool for the job? Is there any piece of equipment or something that would help you to do this and feel good about it?
Yeah,
it's really the feel good about it part. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think
so. Probably not. Significant advantage. I think it sounds like something. Draw significant advantage when taking actions that will potentially help you satisfy your motivation and clearly put others in danger. I think that's the definition of that. And you can't push yourself because you're stressed out. So you've got 3 cards.
3 cards. All right. Let's see here. Oh, all right. There you go.
Okay. So clear your stress track. And then you have to choose a consequence. Again, because we're short on time, let me just quickly throw one down that seems to make sense. I think your actions are going to upset others. I'm going to say that Tonkin sees you do this, and it's going to cause him to gain another point of stress. So Tonkins, go ahead and give yourself a point of stress. You are now overwhelmed. Flynn's feeling good. Tonkins, you're in a bad place. You're stuck in a bog. You're going to need help to get out. This is sort of our last action, our last moment. Flynn, do we see you go to help Tonkins, or do we see you run away with your DNA sample?
I think there's a little bit of a redemption arc. Gonna grab Tompkins, or at least attempt to. We'll see how well it goes. We don't know what her dedication to this is.
Okay, I'm going to capture this as one last draw then. We'll call this run. We see you trying to pull him out. The 2 of you try to scramble away as these dog things, are running through the forest after you. We'll capture all of this with one last draw. Which one I think we'll put it on Flynn. I think Flynn's probably the only one that's got enough togetherness to kind of pull him out and lead the way. Tonkins is maybe like, go this way, go that way. Maybe that's the most you can do at this point. Run. Narrate the first half of a hectic chase and draw. Do you guys want to add another detail to our chase? Anything that makes it more hectic or exciting or interesting to you?
I mean, I think we've narrated how boggy this is. So I think it's like a lot of like, running through deep water and like the sucking sounds of the boots, and also like leaping from solid land to solid land. And Tonkin's probably is a good advisor at that as much as he's able to.
Did either one of you grab that weapon that was laying by the bog too on your way out? Did any of you have the? I would say Tonkins probably didn't have the state of mind to do it, but Flynn, do you grab that also, or?
I would have said no, but having cleared all the stress, yeah, I think probably.
Okay, so you slap that in your satchel. All right, let's go to a draw then. So Flynn, do you have an expertise that would help you run away and escape?
I feel like being slight might be helpful in this one.
Yeah, I think you don't sink into the bog nearly as much. Sure. Do you have the right tool for the job? Is there any special piece of equipment that will help you get through this?
I mean, I feel like we had the rope, but I don't think we'd have time to tie each other together like we were in the beginning, so probably not.
No, probably not. Significant advantage. I think if anything, you're going against your significant advantage from your exclusive rights. So I'd say no for that. I can't think of anything else. So you're looking at two cards, but you can give yourself a stress to go to 3.
Yep, because I know I'm not going to get any help.
All right, that's exactly right.
So let's see what happens. This is for all the marbles. Edge.
Mhm.
Not bad. Miss. And a miss.
Okay. So let's see. On run, on an edge, choose two of the following. It was close. Everyone gains a stress. It was difficult. Gain a hurt. Now you're lost and alone. Complete the new location move. Given our circumstances in the game, I think it's going to have to be the first two. So it was
Well,
close.
I was going to say everyone involved can't gain a stress because Tompkins
True.
is full.
Well,
So
I think what we'll say is Tompkins is going to lose his cool. We'll cover that in a second. So it's going to be that, and then you're going to gain a hurt. What
Yeah.
kind of hurt do you gain in the course of this chase?
is it like a pick list, or can I just narratively?
Yeah, it's you make it up. Describe the injury using the narrative. It isn't life-threatening, but limits the character in some important way until they receive assistance.
So I think it's like I want to say there's like some sort of swamp plant that has almost not like it's like a bear trap kind of plant, and she puts her foot in that and is like, you see the blood trailing off in the water as she's walking on this, and the grimace on her face lets the audience imagine the pain of like there's bones rubbing together or something as she's running.
And what I'm going to say, we'll do one more draw just to give Robbie a chance to like see how this works out. So Robbie, you see him stumble and fall. He's got this plant on his leg that's dug into his ankle or his leg. You got to pull it together in order to keep going or help him. Basically, the stakes for you is that if you're not able to deal with your stress here in the moment, you're going to face major consequences. Okay. So this is the overwhelm move. Do you want to try to behave badly? Do you want to lose it? Do you want to use some drugs?
The using drugs is appealing if there's a plant, given that I've been in this area before, right? A kind of plant that I recognize as having some type of
right.
Maybe
part of this, how this plant works, is it sedates you as it eats you, right? So
yeah.
You grab it, you drink some of this, whatever this nasty stuff is. Sure. All right. So let's go with that then. So now your draw is going to basically be, how do you cope with your altered state? How well can you cope with it and keep functioning? So you get one card. Do you have anything that would help you cope with this drug better? Slight, analysis, or not? That's not you. Dodging, bargaining, breaking, entering, connected, used to live here. I think used to live here would fit. I think maybe not to take too much.
Right.
So you're up to 2. Do you have significant? Do you have any piece of equipment that would help? I think it's not the perfect thing. I think it just gives you the narrative ability to do it. So I'm not going to allow the plant to fit here. And significant advantage. You've already used the thing about getting advantage if you've lived here before. And your other one is, how do you get that one? Lose. You don't have anything to lose anymore, really. I think you've lost all your stuff.
Yeah.
So I think you're at 1, 2, and 2. You can't push yourself. 2 cards.
Yeah.
2 cards.
All right. So, all right, here we go. Triumph.
Wow. All right, perfect. So you clear all your stress. You have this moment of clarity. You help him. We see you come out to a clearing. This alien version of a helicopter comes down, maybe a dropship, I guess. It comes down, and we see a ramp come down, and the 2 of you stumble into it. It climbs up into the air. We see it go off, and in the foreground, we see the monster that you never really saw, but we see it standing there. It lets out a roar of rage that you've escaped, especially since you escaped with its weapon. I don't know if you guys have guessed, but it is this guy. That's who was hunting you all along here. Take a breath. We only got a few minutes, so we'll go quick. First of all, we'll go around roses and thorns, give some positive feedback. any thorns that you had. Then if you have any quick thoughts, you can put them on Slack if we're running out of time, or if you have quick things you want to give me about the game, things that worked or didn't work. We'll throw that out there too. But let's start with some roses and thorns. Let me start with Keith. Do you have any feedback for us?
I really liked seeing both Robbie as a PC and you as the GM taking the various card elements and like synthesizing them into what's happening. It was cool to see the development, especially of Tonkins as we were going, and like as like sort of an audience member, I was like, oh, what's going to happen next? Which was fun to kind of have that in addition to being a character.
All right, great. And any thorns? Nobody ever has thorns. Let's skip that. Robbie, do you have any roses for us?
Yeah, I really liked the pacing of the game. I think works really well. I mean, I think that there's it clips along at a nice pace that keeps things kind of dramatic, and I think the the mechanics works well. I mean, I like the whole card mechanic, in addition to that whole kind of negotiation over how many cards you get to draw. And I think, you were saying that you were going to go to a 4-session, try it out for a 4-session arc. And I think that's going to, that would be appealing to me, because I do feel like, we were kind of clipping things along. And there were sometimes where I said, yeah, even like one extra session here would have kind of set up some, more kind of moments for kind of the interaction and the kind of role playing. But, I think as an experience of in this kind of genre, I think it's really, really nice. I mean, I think, we were off and running pretty quickly with our first session. And yeah, it has a nice, it hits the beats, I think, really, really nicely.
All right, great. Thank you. Similar feedback to you guys. You both were well within the genre, definitely looking to emulate that kind of movie, that kind of genre that we're playing in. You guys both definitely knew how to do it and what you're doing, and the way you revealed your cards and like meshed them together, especially even with each other, that was really nice. It created a lot of really deep character in a brief moments that you're allowed to like have those that opportunity. So you guys did great with all of that. I'll jump in just a few things about the game that came to me. One is it runs well with two players. I think I didn't feel any need for another player. I didn't feel that you guys were grasping or stuck. It flowed nicely. I think everybody was not having a lot of trouble. So that was nice. On the flip side, I've run it with 5 people. It's too much. It's too much for 5 people. This game it was really nice to have 2 players, because you could just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And each of you had a chance to think and then a chance to act, and it kept everything moving nicely. 5, there's too much gap. 3 works well. 4, it's probably 3 or 2 is probably my preference for this game. But anyways, let's see. One thing I was struggling with all along, and I'm going to go back, and the threat deck has about 20 some cards in it, and there's one particular card I needed to add more monsters. I finally got it to add the little dog creatures, the bear, the hellhounds, but I never got the next one is where I could actually have the predator come into the story. So I never really got there. So I kind of cheated when it was like trying to stab you through the roof, because like it's not really there. You're really fighting the spear, I guess. You're not really fighting it, but I kind of cheated. That was it, doing that to you. But if I was being very literal in the way the game is designed, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because I had not earned the predator yet. Even at the end of our game, I hadn't earned it, so I wasn't able to have you come face to face at least with the predator.
It would have felt weird to not have that much of it, right? Like as a movie,
Sure.
You'd be like, what
Yeah.
are these minor threats? I came here to see, a
Yeah.
certain genre of movie, and like the dogs are scary, but they're the precursor.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if there was a third session, you probably would have got there. But I think what I'll end up doing is I'm going to go back and I'm going to increase the incidence or the number of the card that I need. It's called tension builds. That allows me to add a new monster. I'll add some more to the deck so that I get that more often. Okay, so any again, it's past 12. Say goodbye if you have to go. But if you have any play test feedback, we'll go around again and see what you got. Pass if you got nothing. You can go back in the Slack later if something comes to mind. But Robbie, do you have any? You already threw out some playtest stuff, but if you have anything else, any other feedback for me, I would be glad to hear it.
Yeah. I mean, just going back very, very briefly to the need to kind of you feeling the need to throw in the monster. I don't know that I think that with those other threats, I think that there's examples in the horror genre where just environmental threats can also maybe everybody's expecting the monster thing, but those environmental threats there are ways of kind of using those pretty effectively to ramp up the tension. So I would I think that there's like good opportunities in there to kind of use those for for adding to the horror, even apart from the monsters that are there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Sure. And Keith, any playback related feedback?
I definitely like the board game kind of elements where there's like more physicality, more almost rules than a lot of RPGs, but like I liked being out of control of some of the stuff. Like it was genre appropriate. The only thing that made me feel uncomfortable was adding details to scenes. I didn't want to, like, I knew there was a predator, right? Because I saw the cues, but I was like, I don't know what has been established sort of off screen and I don't want to countermand it. So like with other RPGs, it'd be like, oh, I have free reign to do whatever I want. There's not necessarily a plot, and not that it was a railroady kind of plot. But I felt sort of constrained by things that I didn't know if they were there.
Right.
And just as a usability thing, like I think having the table with more defined areas, like your cards are going to go here, the threat cards, I'm going to draw here, because it did get cluttered, and I was like, I don't know where I should be looking. Yeah,
it gets to be a lot when we're rushing and everything's happened fast and furious. There, we're starting to get a lot of stuff on the table. Yep, I agree. On that, I think I definitely can and probably should make it clear from the start. My philosophy on adding details and being worried about like tripping up where the game master or where other players are trying to go with the story, because it is just do it, because most players, in fact almost all players in my experience, will work together very nicely with the game master and with each other to create a story. And I trust, and part of the skills to run this game well, and what I'm hoping to develop and getting better at, is I'll just integrate it in whatever you come up with, whether it's within the genre, outside the genre, whether it's on the same line that I'm thinking or not. I think I can, and I think we should just integrate in whatever you create. I think I saw that moments where you had that thought of like, you even asked me like, that kind of along the same line of what you were talking about there. And what you came up with was perfectly fine. And it was seamless with what we were doing, like a lot of this is like you create things like when you had your reveal of your agenda, we overtly were talking about that, be like, well, I don't know what my motivation is, but I want to use this card here. And it's almost like you put the story, you put the elements first, and then you let the story catch up to it later, and you did, especially when you brought it in with your physician card. So that's part of what I was saying earlier, that players are able, and especially you guys did today, of like meshing it all together somehow and creating something that makes half sense, So I don't know if that answered anything of what you're saying, but basically take-home message is just go with it and let us. 9 times out of 10, people will find a way to bring it together. All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. It was very, very successful. I learned a lot. I gained a lot. A lot of the technical stuff came up that I'll be able to fix and work on. Your feedback's great. Is it okay if I post this publicly on YouTube?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you. I hope to see you all in the future soon. And like I said, I'll be running it this fall, and I'll probably put it back up. The games I'm doing in the fall are off Gauntlet, but I'll be putting it back on the Gauntlet later if you guys should want to return to it and see what it looks like a few months from now. But if not, I enjoy playing with you, and I'll see you soon.
Great. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good week.
Bye, guys. Thank you.